Hello and welcome, Green Thumbs. Christian here from 321garden.com, and today we're going to teach you how to install mulch in your garden beds. When you're ready to install mulch in your garden beds, you will require the following tools: wheelbarrow, flathead shovel, rake, trowel, blower, hose with spray nozzle, bin, a good pair of gloves, and last but not least, ear protection. Now that we're organized, let's get started. From years of experience, we have learned that it is way more cost-effective and much more straightforward to have the bark mulch delivered and dumped on either your driveway or at the curb of your home. You can do a Google search for a bark mulch delivery service in your area or ask a local garden store for their advice on who to buy mulch from. A pre-delivery side note: we find it much more difficult to shovel the mulch which has been dumped onto a tarp versus shoveling right off the street. The shovel can often get caught up or snagged on the tarp, increasing your risk of injury, a damaged tarp, and a slower workflow. If it's a rainy day and your mulch is being dumped against the street curb, we would suggest that the first thing you do is to shovel your mulch away from the curb. Create a channel along the street curb so that the water can pass without taking all of your precious mulch away with it. If you do not have a piece of wood to use as a ramp to get the wheelbarrow up and down the curb, you can use mulch to make your own ramp. Shovel 3 or 4 scoops of the mulch against the curb and stamp it down with your feet to make a solid ramp. You can test it with your wheelbarrow first to make sure it works. Before you're ready to place mulch in your garden beds, it's essential that you do a thorough weeding and detailed raking to remove debris that have fallen, such as leaves and branches. To keep the mulch from running off onto the pathways and patios, we like to make a trench along the edge of the garden bed and the pathway. Using a hand trowel, push back the soil from the edge of the pathway into the garden bed. Create a 2-inch lip to hold the new mulch in place and stop any annoying spillouts. Once the garden weeding and preparation is complete, this is the time to either blow or sweep the pathways free of dirt and debris. If you do this after the mulch is applied, it makes a mess out of your beautifully clean garden. One last thing to do before we're ready for top dressing with mulch is to do a good drenching of the garden beds first. This will help your garden bed stay moist once the mulch is applied. It is best to use the shower setting on your spray nozzle. When shoveling your mulch into the wheelbarrow, it is important to make sure you do the shoveling correctly to reduce any chance of injuring yourself. It is easier to shovel off the pavement than to push the shovel into the top of the pile. Let the pile fall naturally to the pavement, and you will find it's not as compacted and it's easier to shovel that way. Make sure to bend your knees, holding the shovel with both hands, spacing your hands to within 6 inches of the end of the shovel to allow for a solid stance. Once you have filled your wheelbarrow with mulch, take your shovel and place its handle on the inside of the wheelbarrow's handles. This will make maneuvering around the garden a cinch. Maneuver your wheelbarrow to the side of the garden bed you are starting with. It is important to shovel out of the wheelbarrow by shoveling into the curved front end of the wheelbarrow to make shoveling the most efficient for you. It is best to install the mulch from your wheelbarrow using your shovel, especially around plants and shrubs. If you unintentionally dump a shovel of mulch on one of your plants, it's best to stop, use your hand and clear the mulch off the plant. You can also gently pull up any branches or leaves that have been covered with the mulch. If you have more open areas, you can easily dump the mulch using your wheelbarrow and then spread it with a rake. Once you have applied the mulch, you can now go around and detail by either using your hands or a rake to gently move the mulch around the plants and back from the trunks of trees. This is when you get to make the garden beds look fantastic. Make sure you do not leave mounds of mulch, as the smooth look is what we're going for. You can now do a final blowing or sweeping of the pathways and streets, and you are done.
321garden.com